Hi, Brandon with Shawshank Detailing. Wanted to do another instructional video today on ceramic coatings. A lot of people are really afraid when it comes to ceramic coatings. Technology's come a long way. Don't get me wrong, I install some ceramic coatings I would never recommend anyone to do unless they were properly trained and they had some experience, because they're not the easiest to install. But there are some coatings that are pretty easy to do and could be DIY friendly, including one that we sell here called Hyperclean UNO. So their 1 and 2 year coatings, UNO and DOS, are some of the easiest coatings, if not the easiest coating that I've ever dealt with. It's actually easier than waxing your car, if you ask me. I tell all my clients I could probably train my son to do it. It's very easy. Most of the pain in the butt work is the prep work. You know, you gotta properly make sure the entire vehicle is clean. Gotta make sure there's no waxes, oils, anything on it that's gonna prevent the product from bonding to the paint or the plastic or glass or whatever you're putting it on. So I just wanted to go over today how to do it, show you it's not such a scary process. And we sell these right here at our shop. We also offer them on our online store. You're welcome to purchase them. They are very affordable, and we also install them. So if you don't feel comfortable, or like some of my clients, they could probably do it, they just don't have the time and don't want to, and you want us to do it, we'd be happy to. We are a Hyperclean distributor, so we sell it, we also install it. So let us know if you have any questions, if you're interested in the product, and I'm gonna show the video now so you know how to install it. All right, thanks. We got done finishing down the 1974 BMW 2002. So now we're gonna top it with our entry-level coating, Hyperclean UNO. It's a 1 year 7H coating, and it's very, very simple to install. So pretty much anybody can buy it, do it as a DIY project, and I'm gonna show you how. So a couple things you'll want. First of all, went around the entire vehicle with some alcohol. I have 99% alcohol in this bottle. You can mix it with a little water or buy like a 70% alcohol to be a little more on the safe side. But this is what I use. I just sprayed it on the vehicle, on every crevice, everything I'm gonna ceramic coat, and I wiped it down with a towel. Then I inspected it outside in the sunlight or with a light. We have a little inspection light with Max Shine I'll get in a minute to show you. Or you could use like a shop light, anything you could do to just look it over and make sure there's no streaks or smudges. If you ceramic coat over those streaks or smudges, they're gonna be there when it dries. So just make sure you wipe down the entire vehicle with some alcohol, or Hyperclean just came out with a white product that we'll be offering as well. You can use that, and that's developed for their coatings. So you can wipe the whole vehicle down with that as well to prep the vehicle for the coating. Now, next, of course, you want Hyperclean UNO. I got a 100 ml bottle here. These are available on our store or in our shop. You want a microfiber applicator. We offer Max Shine microfiber applicators here at the store and on our online store. You can pick a pack of 4 up. You can also pick up these general purpose towels that we use from our shop as well. They work great for coatings, because typically I toss all my rags after they're being coated, especially if it's a coating that hardens. You don't want to put it back on the paint and scratch the paint. So every time I use it for ceramic coating, I throw it in the garbage. So these are perfect general purpose towels that don't cost too much because they're disposable. And here's the bag of general purpose towels. Okay, so after we sprayed down the entire vehicle, wiped it down with alcohol to prep for the surface, we're gonna get ready here with our microfiber applicator and our bottle of UNO. Most ceramic coatings, when you open it, the first time you open it, you might want to do it outdoors because it releases some pretty strong chemicals that are stuck in the air in the bottle leak here. I already did that, but the first time you open it outside, put the cap back on, then bring it in to start going. So you open up Hyperclean UNO, you grab your handy dandy notebook. No. So you're just gonna put a couple drops. This is the first time I'm using this microfiber applicator, so you wanna get it pretty saturated in this. So the first time you're gonna use quite a bit. So I'll show you here, I'll get a little closer. And you'll watch, I'm letting it drip onto the applicator. I'm kind of making sure it covers most of the applicator to get it all primed and ready to go, as you can see. So, first, you're gonna take what you put on here. I like to dab it across the section I'm working, and then I go in a box. So you border the entire section that you're doing. And then I'll go ahead and start filling in the box. Up and down, up and down. You try to do 50% overlap. And then you cross hatch. You go the opposite way. And next, I'll show you what to look for. Okay, so we're gonna do another section here, and I wanted to show you after the first initial, priming of the pad, you don't really need a lot for your next section. So what I'll do is I'll do, drip it right down the middle, a couple drops here, 5, 6 drops, nothing crazy. And then, so we're gonna do this section here. So I will show you what I'll do. Like I said, I usually like to dab it in all different sections. Then I'll go around and make a border around the section I'm working. Kudos to YouTubers that have been doing these videos. It's very hard to see what you're doing while you're taping. But as you can see, now I'll fill in the box. I overlap about 50% each time to make sure I'm getting every area. Then what I'll do is I'll crosshatch. So now I'll go back through and I'll fill in the box going the opposite way. Now I'm moving kind of slow to show you how to do it, but typically you want to do this a little faster because the product's starting to sweat and starting to flash. So you don't want to take too long. And we're looking for that to start sweating again, just like last time. And I don't know if you can see right there, but it is starting to sweat and bead up. So it is time to take off. So we'll come over here. And like I said, you could do the 2 towel method. I just use 1 towel. So what I'm gonna do is go through, make sure I wipe off as much as I can with this side of the towel. Then I'll flip to the dry side of the towel and make sure I get any excess or streaks or smudges, anything that's left, and just make sure that I buffed it completely level. But as you can see, I mean, this coating is very, very easy. The easiest part of this coating is taking it off and leveling it out. That is the easiest part of this coating. Most coatings aren't this easy to level out and take off. You're usually sitting here fighting and buffing it and buffing it and buffing it and trying to get it completely level and glossy. But as you can see, this coating, I probably went over it a little too much just to show you how to do it. Typically, it doesn't even take that much, and it's looking great. Okay, so it's extremely important before you move on to the next section, you just want to inspect what you just did. So I have this Max Shine paint inspection light here. Turn on. I'm just gonna look it over. That metallic is popping, looking awesome. And as you can tell, I don't see any high spots or smudges. So what you're looking for is high spots and smudging. They're gonna typically look almost like a streak. Like if you were wiping spray wax or spray sealant or even wax in a car and you see a little streak, let me shut this off. See a little streak or line down the center of the hood. That's typically what a high spot is gonna look like. A smudge is just gonna look like you wipe something greasy, oily on it. So just look for that. Make sure you got the nice uniform finish and always inspect with a light. Because sometimes it looks great like this, even under shop lights, and then you put a bright LED light on it and you start to see some issues. So just make sure you inspect this before you move to the next section. The other thing is, I did this section first. So you always want to make sure that you check the outside of the section you just did. Because typically when you do this section, and you already did this section, so now that you do this part of the panel, you're gonna spread some over here. So you always wanna make sure you didn't get a high spot or miss a spot that you leveled out on the very outside of the section you just worked on. Just look around and make sure it's all good. Okay, so this is what you wanna see. Once you see the product starting to sweat and bead up, that's telling you it's time to take it off. So now that Uno started to sweat, it's time to take it off. Take my microfiber. I always start with one side to wipe off the initial excess of the product. You'll notice right away how smooth and easy it is to wipe off. Uno is one of, if not the easiest coating to install that I've ever touched. This stuff is nice and easy. As you can tell, this looks easy on camera. You're not fighting a bunch of smudges, high spots. It just kind of glides across the surface and takes the excess off. So I wiped first with one side, then I flipped to my next side just to make sure I didn't leave any smudges or excess behind. So that's the way I do it. Some people like two towels. They like one towel to wipe off the initial excess and one dry towel to get any streaks or anything, high spots left behind. I do it with one towel. I just use two different sides of it. And then I'll switch to another one as it gets filled with product. Watch the microfiber. The microfiber towel, when it starts to get filled with product, you're gonna notice it's harder to take it off. It's not as easy as it just was, which means to get a new towel, or if you have it folded, just flip to the new side. Now for the applicator, same thing. As you're using it, if it starts to get too much product on the applicator, you're gonna notice it's not spreading properly, and it's harder to take off again. Okay, so what you wanna do is you wanna grab either the other side of the applicator or you wanna grab a new applicator. You just wanna make sure that both processes of applying the product and taking it off isn't getting too clogged with product. If it is, get in there. Okay, so cure time and flash time. A lot of that depends on the heat and humidity in the area you're working in. So as you can see, when I was installing it, it started to sweat pretty quickly. It's kind of muggy in here today. It's not too hot, but there is a lot of mugginess. My wash bay is right there, and I did wash a car in here today, so there's a lot of humidity in the air. So just watch it, wait for it to sweat. That will tell you when it's flashing, and you'll know what to do depending on that. So just test a little spot somewhere you're not gonna see real quick to see how fast it sweats. Then you get a good idea of flash time. Now, cure time. You do not want it to get wet for at least 24 hours. So you can keep it inside, tell the customer when he brings it home, keep it in his garage if it's nice out. It's just a good idea to not let it get wet, see bugs or anything that's gonna damage it within 24 hours. Now, it doesn't fully cure for about 7 to 10 days. So you don't wanna wash it with any detergents, any soaps, nothing for at least, I tell my customers about 10 days. That's a good rule of thumb. So those are the two main things right away. And then the big rule when you have a coating on your car, no wax. So the one thing that's going to clog this coating up, there's a couple things that will, but initially what will clog it up is waxes, oils, any kind of oily substance is going to get in the pores of this coating and clog it up. So just make sure that you're not putting any wax on it. You're not going through a car wash that's spraying spray wax on it. It's just not good practice. It's not going to damage the coating, but the coating's not going to work the way you want it to. And then you need someone like me to restore it, or you got to go through and really get everything out of it. So no waxes. The next thing is, it says 1 year for the Uno. We have clients that are almost 2 years now and it's still working. So Hyperclean likes to under promise, over deliver. So do we here at Shawshank Detailing. So to maintain it, it's a good idea to bring it to me or an installer once a year. If we install it for you, that's going to make sure that we get all the contaminants out of it so it works properly, unclog any pores that are clogged with anything, and it just ensures that you get the longest and best performance out of the product. If you install it yourself, you should regularly maintain it, wash it when it starts to get dirty. You might have to clay bar it once or twice a year if any brake dust or anything gets stuck in it. So just keep that in mind. Ceramic coatings are great. They're going to keep the car clean longer, but they are not some magical substance that's going to make it so you never have to touch your car again. If you have any questions, let me know. Shawshank Detailing. Thanks.